Imagine a giant spaceship floating above Earth, where astronauts live and work, conducting mind-blowing experiments that push the boundaries of human knowledge. Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, it's real, and it's called the International Space Station, ISS. The ISS is one of humanity's greatest achievements, an incredible laboratory in space that orbits Earth every 92 minutes at a speed of 28,000 kilometers per hour. But how did we get here? Who built it? And what does the future hold for this marvel of engineering? Buckle up, because we're about to embark on an epic journey through time and space. For centuries, humans have looked up at the night sky and wondered, can we live among the stars? This dream started taking shape in the 20th century, when scientists and visionaries imagined a permanent home in space. The first real attempt? The Soviet Union's Salyut space station, launched in 1971. It was the first ever habitable station in orbit, but it was just the beginning. Over the next 2 decades, the Soviets launched several other stations, leading to their biggest breakthrough, Mir, a space station that remained in orbit for over a decade. Meanwhile, NASA was busy sending astronauts to the moon with the Apollo program. But after that, they turned their focus to space stations. In 1973, the U.S. launched Skylab, but it only lasted a few years. Both superpowers had competing visions for space, but what if they worked together? In 1984, U.S. President Ronald Reagan announced plans for a new space station called Freedom. However, the cost was enormous, and progress was slow. That's when an unexpected partnership changed everything. By the 1990s, the Cold War was over, and former rivals, the US and Russia, decided to collaborate. They joined forces with Japan, Canada, and the European Space Agency, combining technology, resources, and expertise. The result? The birth of the International Space Station, ISS. Construction began in 1998, and piece by piece, the ISS was assembled in orbit. Here's how it all started. November 20th, 1998. Russia launched the first module, Zarya. December 4th, 1998. The U.S. added the Unity module, connecting it to Zarya. 2000. The Zvezda service module was added, making it habitable for the first crew. November 2nd, 2000. The first humans arrived. Russian cosmonaut Sergei Krikalev, Yuri Gudzenko, and American astronaut William Shepard became the ISS's first residents. From that moment, the ISS has been continuously inhabited, a home for astronauts for over 20 years. So, what's it like to live in space? Imagine waking up, looking out of your window, and seeing Earth spinning below you. Astronauts on the ISS conduct groundbreaking research in human biology, physics, medicine, astronomy, and even growing plants in space. They exercise for 2 hours a day to prevent muscle loss, eat specially packaged space food, and yes, they even sleep floating in zero gravity. And the best part? They see 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets every single day. But the ISS isn't forever. After 3 decades in orbit, it's beginning to show its age. NASA has announced plans to retire the ISS by 2031, and it will be safely deorbited into the Pacific Ocean. So what's next? China has already launched its own space station, Tiangong. NASA is partnering with private companies to build commercial space stations. Russia is planning to launch its own new station. There's even talk of space hotels in the future, as humanity ventures further into space, toward the moon, Mars, and beyond. The ISS will always be remembered as the place where it all began. The International Space Station isn't just a laboratory. It's a symbol of global unity and human ambition. It shows us that when we work together, we can achieve the impossible. And who knows, maybe one day, you'll be the one floating among the stars.